Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to say call hello, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Kodash. I want to send double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone. Send much peace, love, salutations to y'all came out there pushing the word of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, in sincerity and truth. This is Brother Ariala, and this will be another path to the Motb update. And on this one, it's going to be the surveillance state is here, Recently, we've been seeing ICE get into tumults with people out there in Minnesota and having to deal with certain issues and situations and where they're basically just ramping things up. And, we've been reading this Revelation 12 and 12, over and over again for the past few months because we're in those times, this and Habakkuk, the second chapter, we're just ramping it up and up and up. You know what I'm saying? We're seeing the ramp up in the spirit. Why? Because they have to get these MOTB systems rolled out. And this ICE and what they got going on is just a part of that, and how the technologies that they're using to basically round people up is what we've been warning people about as they go into this technocracy. Revelation 12 and 12 says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time." And that's what we're going to see. We're going to start to see them implement these different devices, these different instruments, these different technologies, and incorporate it into people's everyday life. And they'll talk about how needed it is, and talk about how important it is to justify themselves rolling on you. You know what I'm saying? And so I looked up this word surveillance state, and this is what it says. It says, a surveillance state is a country where the government engages in pervasive, systematic, and often secret monitoring of its population's actions, communications, and data, typically with minimal democratic oversight or judicial authorization. It prioritizes surveillance to control behavior, maintain power, or address security threats. And they're using illegal immigration as a justification to do all of this type of stuff. We see it rolling out, day in and day out. You know what I'm saying? It says key characteristics of a surveillance state include mass surveillance, widespread, indiscriminate data collection on citizens regardless of guilt or innocence. And when we know that Zuckerberg and Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and Twitter X, all of these different social media platforms and companies are giving data to the NSA. You know what I'm saying? And to the government and the corporate, the public-private sector. That partnership is being more and more openly seen, where they're showing you how they're giving up everybody's data. It says technological monitoring, use of advanced, often intrusive technologies like CCTV, internet traffic monitoring, AI-driven data analysis, and facial recognition. Now, we all know that all of our phones and laptops are monitoring and collecting data actively, even when they're powered off. We live in a complete surveillance state, and it's being activated in front of people's face. Lack of accountability, operates with high secrecy, bypassing checks and balances, and often creating a guilty until proven innocent environment. Public-private partnership, collaboration where the state forces private companies to share or sell them personal data for state controls. Right? Suppression of dissent, used to monitor or suppress political, social, or in some cases, economic threats to the state. And this is what we're seeing happening in Minnesota. Right? The formulation and activation of ICE and their partnership with Palantir lets them suppress dissent. They're actually killing people out there, Second Ezra 15 and 14 says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands." Just like it talks about in Isaiah the 19th chapter, the Egyptian shall be against the Egyptian. And we're seeing that as these liberals and Democrats are facing off against the alt-right or the right. All right, it's creating civil dissent and problems. Verse 16 says, "For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their king nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." Okay? And as they give more and more authoritarian control to ICE, you're going to start to see them be Judge Dredd out there more often, where they just executing people that come up against them, you know? All right, now I mentioned how Palantir has basically given ICE the power to turn on certain levels of surveillance. I'm going to play this.
A new investigative report by 404 Media says ICE agents have a new high-tech way to zero in on neighborhoods to raid. The report says it's an app called Elite, and it's developed by Palantir, which is a data analytics company used by federal agencies and state and local governments. Now, the app populates a map with potential targets, pulls up a profile on each individual person, and provides a, quote, confidence score on each person's address. Joining us now is the 404 Media investigative journalist who wrote that story, Joseph Koch. Joseph, thanks for...
You see where it says it creates confidence scores. So basically they're able to use AI-driven technologies to analyze and make judgments on who's good and who's bad, who's right and who's wrong, who should be snatched up and who shouldn't, man.
For being with us. How did you first come across this information, and what did you find as you started to follow the story?
So I've been covering ICE's use of technology for months now, and I kept hearing about this thing called Elite. I didn't know what it was at the time, and we didn't really know what tech ICE was using to actually find people. But eventually, I got leaked this user guide, which explained the tool in detail. I found this testimony from Oregon where an ICE official, under sworn deposition, explained exactly how they were using this tool to actually target neighborhoods. And I also found this link to Palantir as well. I think finally providing the clearest link yet between the tech that Palantir is making and how ICE is actually choosing where to raid and where to target.
So what kind of data are they looking at here on this app? And is it being used in agents all over, not just Minnesota?
So with this testimony in Oregon, an ICE official said it's basically like a Google's map interface where you can look around the United States, you can zoom in on targets, and I've seen the interface, and he's exactly right. That's exactly what it looks like. You then click on an individual person, and it brings up their name, a photo, most importantly for ICE, their apparent address, and also a confidence score on how likely it is that person is actually there, such as 90 out of 100 or 75 out of 100. It allows them to really zoom in on who they want to go pick up that day.
So you write about the app user guide. What did the user guide reveal to you?
It really showed in granular detail what exactly ICE is able to do, such as if they want to target this neighborhood, they'll maybe draw a circle around it, and that will bring up information on all of the people there. If they want to figure out where a certain...
See, we're in a complete surveillance state, man, where basically, there is no running and no hiding, you know what I mean? And, bro that's in law enforcement told me, they have drone AI technology where you outside doing something, the chances of you getting away with it is very minimal. Everything is being surveillanced and watched to a T. All right, and that's a part of Esau wanting to have all power, wanting to be like the Most High, wanting to know all and see all. Okay. Him wanting to be able to say, hey, man, there's nothing, you're never out of the scope of my reach. Okay? Being able to utilize surveillance technology on this level is intimidating and makes people fall under control. And this is a part of the mark of the beast system. You best believe. Okay? Let's see. What's the scripture? Isaiah 32:7 says, the instruments also of the true are evil. He deviseth wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speaketh right. But the liberal deviseth liberal things, and by liberal things shall he stand. So we're going to see these different things come out, and more distresses come upon the people. Right? It's not no game out here. Right? I'm going to play the rest of this.
Population might be, they can use it for that. And of course, I think really importantly for what is happening in Minnesota at the moment, the tool can be used to sort of write up special operations, is what ICE calls it, and that can send target lists out to people on the ground, and then they can then pursue them as well as part of these much wider operations that we're seeing across the United States.
Boom. So when you're looking at this level of power, when you're looking at these technologies, we're going to start to see these type of models be rolled out more and more and more. All right, and this is all for in the progression of prophecy, the surveillance states, the overarching digital economies that they want to roll out. You know, the engineering of food and everything like that. All of these things are a part of an overreaching system of control and power, man. But we're going to just trust in Yahweh Shem Yahushua to get us through. This is Psalms 37:7. It says, rest in the Lord and wait patiently for him. Fret not thyself because of him who prospereth in his way, because of a man who bringeth wicked devices to pass. Cease from anger and forsake wrath. Fret not thyself in any wise to do evil. So we ain't gonna trip as he rolls this stuff out, man. For evildoers shall be cut off, but those that wait upon the Lord, they shall inherit the earth. For yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be. Yea, thou shalt diligently consider his place, and it shall not be. But the meek shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in an abundance of peace. The wicked plotteth against the just, and gnasheth upon him with his teeth. The Lord shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is coming. The wicked have drawn out the sword, and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy, and to slay such as be of upright conversation. Their sword shall enter into their own heart, and their bows shall be broken. Okay? And so, as this man sets up these different technologies, and he's rolling on you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, those that trust in the Lord know that all of these things that he's weaponizing to come against the tribes is going to be utilized to destroy his dang self, man. And that's what we're waiting on, man. But yeah, I saw this technology with the Palantir and how they're able to look into everything and search pretty much everything out digitally all across the planet Earth. And Esau's weaponizing this stuff to come get at the tribes and just to take over in general. But this is all a part of the Motb, man. So with that being said, Lord willing, that was edifying, man. I say, call Halal Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rakak. Double honors of the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone. Much peace, love, salutations to y'all. I'm out there pushing the word of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, sincerity and true. Shalom.